Hello and welcome to Very Hard Questions, the quiz contest that unsurprisingly asks the very hardest questions on television. I often ask myself very hard questions like, if Cinderella's shoe fitted her perfectly then, why did it fall off? We've assembled some of the very brightest brains in Britain to do battle in the very hardest of quizzing competitions. The more points our teams can score, the greater their chance of winning a place in the grand final, where the victors will walk away with a £5,000 prize, this magnificent trophy, and the crown of Very Hard Questions series champion. Playing today are Amit, John and Roderick, also known as Intelligents, and their opponents are Tom, Danny and Alex. They are Assassin's Guild. We tossed a coin backstage and Intelligents will go first. Where do we get Intelligents from?
Well, that's simply because we're gents and I picked the two smartest quiz players that I knew. We all met on the national quizzing circuit, taking on professionals and keen amateur quizzers.
Roderick, it is said that you are the Lionel Messi of the quizzing world.
I would have never said that, but it's very flattering.
Is he actually very good?
Extremely.
So we've got to watch out for him.
Oh, indeed.
Amit, just tell me about your quizzing experience.
I've been quizzing competitively for the last 5 years or so. I've been on Mastermind. I was on the semi-finals.
Well, I imagine the other team are going to be worried. I mean, look, they're relatively youthful. Relative to you, that is. Right. It's time now to meet today's challengers. Welcome to the show Assassin's Guild. Where do we get Assassin's Guild from?
Essentially, we picked the name because Alex and I were part of the Assassin's Guild, both of us when we were at uni, which is a society at various different unis where everyone signs up to kill each other with fake weaponry, I promise. Nerf guns, cardboard boxes dropped with fridge written on them, etc.
Right. Alex, tell me about your first meeting with Danny.
I first met Danny when they shot me in the back with a water pistol. I guess one thing led to another after that point.
Love at first sight?
Love at first shot, perhaps.
And yet you're still a couple, right?
3 years later, yes.
Tom, what do you do for a living?
I studied motorsport engineering at Oxford Brookes, and I'm now an engineer in a Formula E team.
Wow, what is a Formula E team?
It's the electric equivalent of Formula One.
Environmentally friendly motor racing. Who thought it would ever dawn? Great to meet you all. Right, if you're ready, let's play Very Hard Questions. Now, in round one, each team will answer 4 very hard questions, but to help, you have 7 clues to use across the round. Now, first letter gives you the first letter of the first word of the answer. Picture clue offers up a visual cryptic clue. Extra fact gives you more information about the answer. Definition is a dictionary-style description of the answer. Add words inserts more information into the question itself. Different question shows you another question with the same answer. And related words, which are 3 words, all connected to the answer. The clues will help you narrow down the answer, but every time a clue is used, it will cost you a point, and you won't be able to use it again in the round. So use them wisely and make sure you don't end up completely clueless. Intelligence. Let's have a look at your first very hard question. According to the Oxford Dictionary of Nursing, the name of which county comes before neck in the term for endemic goiter that was once common there due to lack of iodine in the soil and water?
Any ideas, chaps?
I'm thinking it's something geological, something to do with the rock. I'm thinking limestone, I'm thinking Derbyshire. That's just a wild guess.
It's worth 4 points.
Iodine is found in seawater, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's
So it's
Derbyshire.
wet, so it's going to be well away from the sea. So
Yeah.
Derbyshire's not a bad guess because it's pretty landlocked.
Let's have a clue.
Okay.
Using a clue will cost you a point, take you down to 3 points.
What should we go
Picture.
for?
I'd go for the picture.
Okay, all right. Let's have a picture clue, please.
That is a dressed well, and well dressing
Oh.
is also a thing in Derbyshire.
Okay, so the question is, are we going to risk it, or do we think we should...
I think Roderick's fairly certain.
Okay, let's risk it. Okay, we'd like to risk...
It's worth
that
3
answer.
points.
Yeah, Derbyshire.
For 3 points, let's see if Derbyshire is the correct answer. Well, congratulations. Well done indeed. Goiter, an enlargement of the thyroid gland, became known as Derbyshire neck. Very, very impressive. You've scored 3 points. Assassin's Guild. Here's your first very hard question. A statue of which author, alongside one of their characters, now located at Clark Park in Philadelphia, was originally commissioned by Washington Post founder Stilson Hutchins, only for him to renege on the deal before it was completed?
Okay, you would presume this is most likely to be a children's author who has a super famous character and an American one.
I would
Possibly
assume
not,
so,
but
yeah, because the only statue I can think of in Philadelphia is Rocky, and I don't think that's it.
This is worth 4 points.
I'd go for an extra fact here. Up to you.
okay, I'm trusting you on this one. Can we get an extra fact, please?
Extra fact. The will of this author, who died in 1870, implored friends on no account to make me the subject of any monument, memorial, or testimonial.
The only famous author I know of who died in 1870 is Dickens, but I don't really understand why he'd be in Philadelphia, so I'd imagine they're talking about someone else.
Another clue will take you down to 2 points.
Related words might help. Can we get related words, please?
Related words. Doughty, Sketches, Huffam.
It is
Huffer.
Dickens.
Yeah, must
It
be.
is Dickens.
Yeah,
I
must
don't
be.
know why he's got a statue in Philadelphia, but sure. Can we guess Dickens, please?
For 2 points, let's see. Charles Dickens. How did you work out the way that the related words did relate?
Sketches refers to Sketches by Boz. Huffam, I believe, is Dickens's middle name. I don't know how Doughty relates to it. Is it a character?
Dickens lived in Doughty Street in London, which is now a museum to him. The statue was originally commissioned by Stilson Hutchins, but he did not make the final payments. It was eventually bought by the Fairmount Park Art Association, who installed it in Clark Park. Probably more than you want to know. Congratulations, you've scored 2 points. Intelligence. Let's have a look at your second very hard question. Which band set a new record in the UK for debut album sales for a band, selling 363,735 copies in the first week?
Oh dear, I was fearful of pop music.
That's a big, big number.
Yeah.
I reckon it's either the Beatles or one of the Live Aid events.
You've got 6 clues to choose from.
Yeah, I thought definition might help over here because it might be a word and we might be able to work out the
Working
name
out
of
from the
band.
definition.
Yeah.
Okay. So, John, we'd like the definition, please.
Definition. Rock band formed in Sheffield in 2002, whose hit singles include Brian Storm and Fluorescent Adolescent.
Someone
It's
like,
too late for Arctic Monkeys.
Are they from Sheffield?
yeah, no, it could be them actually.
But that's a massive number.
Yeah. I think we might have to go for one more.
One more clue, yeah.
This is worth 3 points at the moment, but another clue will take you down to 2.
First letter might help if we've narrowed it down. To
Okay,
a
okay.
few.
Oh, yeah, that's
First-
true.
first letter,
yes.
first letter, yeah.
Okay, first letter, please, John.
First letter. A.
Arctic Monkeys?
Arctic Monkeys.
Arctic Monkeys.
For 2 points, let's see if Arctic Monkeys is the correct answer. Arctic Monkeys. Whatever people say I am, that's what I'm not. That's the name of the album, and it sold 363,735 copies in its first week of release in the United Kingdom. And you score 2 points. Assassin's Guild, let's have a look at your second very hard question. The blood of horseshoe crabs turns blue when exposed to air due to which chemical element being present in the protein hemocyanin?
Is this copper?
I'm pretty sure it's copper, right?
Yeah,
Do we think we should go for it?
I think so.
Like, it's octopi have copper blood. I'm pretty sure that's what hemocyanin is.
Copper,
so, yeah.
like hemocyanin has heme, which is iron in it, but so does human blood, and
Yeah.
that goes red. I think this is worth going for it.
so, yeah.
Can we go for copper, please?
For 4 points, let's see if copper is the correct answer. Copper.
Thank God.
Copper is the correct answer, and you score 4 points. And the more of those you get, the better placed you are. Right. We are at the halfway point of round 1. A good start from Intelligence sees them on 5 points. But after the first 4-pointer of the show, Assassin's Guild are just in the lead with 6 points. But it could all change after the break, when they'll face many more very hard questions. Welcome back to Very Hard Questions, where both our teams are vying for a top 2 spot on the leaderboard and a place in the end of series final. Intelligence, let's have a look at your third very hard question. Jemmy Twitcher was a nickname of the person after whom which foodstuff is named?
Twitcher.
What kind of people have foodstuffs named after them?
JT, Jenny.
It's worth 4 points.
I've got to have a clue, definitely.
Yeah. Any...
Different question. Different question.
Okay, could we have different question, please, John?
Different question. Which foodstuff features in the name of a British overseas territory located in the South Atlantic Ocean?
Sandwich, isn't it? South Sandwich.
South Sandwich Islands.
Okay, so...
and the guy's name was the Earl of Sandwich.
Yeah.
That's with Sandwich.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to have a go, John, and say sandwich.
For 3 points, let's see if sandwich is correct. Sandwich. Well done. Well done. The story goes that some of his gambling sessions would last for days, and rather than interrupt the play, he would get his valet to bring him cold beef between 2 slices of bread. Sandwich. And it scores you 3 points. Assassin's Guild, let's have a look at your third very hard question. What place gave its name to a battle that is commemorated in the name of a Paris metro station, 1 stop from the Gare du Nord?
It has been years since I've taken the Paris Metro. I have no idea which
We
ones
took
are
it
where.
last year, but I don't
But
think
it's still not helping.
it's not.
Worth 4 points at the moment if you go for it, but otherwise it's 3 points.
Try first letter.
I honestly don't mind. Either of those are good ideas.
Can we go first letter, please?
First letter. S.
Okay.
Oh, dear.
Oh, is that Solferino?
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 But I don't know.
Why did you jump to Solferino?
It's just the first one that comes to mind when I think of, like, places I associated with Paris.
God,
dear
I'm still
me.
not.
Worth 3 points.
I'm not sure whether to go for this. Okay, let's try another clue. I think.
I'd be in favour of definition here as well.
Okay, I'll take your word on that. Definition, please.
Definition. The name given to the city of Tsaritsyn in southwestern Russia in 1925.
Stalingrad. Yeah.
Is that? Is that? What's the battle?
Gave its name to a battle. That is.
Shall we
Okay,
say
let's go.
Stalingrad?
Let's go Stalingrad.
For 2 points, let's see if Stalingrad is the correct answer. Stalingrad it is.
But we weren't going to get there in 3 points, so that's fine. Better to get the 2 than get 0.
Well, congratulations anyway. You've scored 2 points. Intelligence. Let's have a look at your final very hard question of this round. Which team was the first English football club to win the League Cup and suffer relegation from the top division in the same season?
League Cup.
Yeah.
Final question and 3 clues remaining.
Related words might give us a clue to the
city?
town of the city.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
that might help, I think. Or might give the name of a manager or something.
Related words, yeah.
because otherwise we're just guessing. John, if we could please have related words to help us.
Related words. Watling, Holt, Fark.
Where is the Holt End? The Holt End is a famous
Yeah.
end of a
Of a stadium.
yeah.
I think we're going to have to go for another clue here.
Or
This is worth 3 points. Another clue will take it down to 2 points.
Okay, we're going to have to go for it, so it's 50-50. Which one do you fancy?
Extra fact.
Could we please have extra fact?
Extra fact. From 1908, the club played at a ground called The Nest, a disused quarry on Rosary Road, before moving to their long-standing ground in 1935.
The Nest, something to do with birds? Is maybe the nickname of the club a bird?
Like Norwich or something.
Yeah.
Daniel Fark might be the manager of Norwich City.
But-
That's not a bad shout, actually.
That doesn't ring any bells with me at all.
This is your last question.
You know what? Oh, yeah. Well, we might as well go for another clue.
Okay, another clue.
Could we have the last clue, please?
Add words. Which team, whose usual home kit features yellow, was the first English football club to win the League Cup and suffer relegation
That's
from the
Norwich.
top division in the same
Norwich.
season?
Okay, let's go for
Norwich
it then.
City.
We'll go with Norwich, please. Norwich City.
For 1 point, let's see if Norwich City is the correct answer. Norwich City, correct. Norwich experienced the success and failure during the 1984-85 season. Let's have a look back at your related words. Watling. Geoffrey Watling is a stand at Norwich City's ground, Carrow Road. Holt. Grant Holt was a striker for Norwich City. Farke. Daniel Farke became head coach of the team in 2017. Congratulations, 1 point. Assassin's Guild. Let's have a look at your final, very hard question of this round. The first episode of which TV drama series centred on the investigation into the murder of D.I. Charlie Hume, played by Hugo Spear?
Could this be that current, recent police drama?
Are you after Line of Duty?
That one, yes.
I'm not familiar with the show. Could be.
I've never seen it.
I'm not sure it is, but it sounds vaguely familiar.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure we have the right clues to help us out very much if we haven't seen it.
Maybe let's go in at an entry level with different question.
Yeah.
Why not?
Can we get different question, please?
Different question. Don Warrington plays Commissioner Selwyn Patterson, and Danny John Jules has played Officer Dwayne Myers in which TV crime show?
I've never seen it. I don't know what it actually looks like. AdWords, I'm not sure what it would say. It would probably say, like, when it started.
Ultimately, if we don't know what this show is, we don't know what it is, but we might as well
If
have
we really
a stab.
don't know,
It's
picture
worth
clue's
3
the way in.
points.
Picture clue, I think.
Can we get a picture clue, please?
Picture clue.
Huh.
A skull under an island.
Oh, is it? Oh, it's that one, Death in Paradise?
Death in
That's
Paradise.
one.
Is that
That's
a crime
one.
show?
That is a crime show.
Oh,
Okay, worth a shot. If we get it wrong, we're only a little bit behind.
give it a go.
Yeah?
Okay, can we go for, did you say its name was Death in Paradise?
Death in Paradise.
Death in Paradise, please.
For 2 points, let's see if Death in Paradise is the correct answer. Death in Paradise.
Nice one.
Congratulations, 2 points. We are at the end of round 1, and some consistent scoring from both teams sees Intelligence on 9 points, but Assassin's Guild are still 1 ahead with 10 points. There are still loads of points to play for in round 2, so join me again after the break for some more very hard questions. Welcome back to Very Hard Questions, where our teams have safely navigated their way through round 1. Let's get straight on with round 2. Now, in this round, you will tackle your own board of 3 questions. But be warned, answer a question incorrectly and your round is instantly over, and any points scored in the round will be lost. You now only have 5 clues to use across all 3 questions, and remember, the more clues you use, the more points you lose. Let's have a look at your clues. Different question and extra fact, both of which you have already seen. Multiple choice, you'll see 4 possible answer options, but only 1 is correct. Audio clue, you'll be played an oral hint to the answer. And redacted text, you'll see a sentence containing the answer, but the key information has been censored. Intelligence, here's your board of 3 questions. Question 1. For 4 months in 1915, at the Panama Pacific International Exposition, held in San Francisco, visitors could observe the practice of a system that bears the surname of which medical doctor? Question 2. Which species of animal has thrived and multiplied since the 4 kept in the menagerie of the drug lord Pablo Escobar were left to fend for themselves after his hacienda was abandoned in the 1990s? And question 3, George, Dottie and Archie are characters in which stage play that begins with an announcement about a radical liberal polling victory? Which question would you like to take first?
I think 2 and then maybe 3.
So 2, definitely.
So 2, 1 and 3. Let's go for question 2, shall we?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, question 2, please.
Which species of animal has thrived and multiplied since the 4 kept in the menagerie of the drug lord Pablo Escobar were left to fend for themselves after his hacienda was abandoned in the 1990s?
Roderick,
If you had to name one animal, what would you guess?
rhinoceros.
Okay.
I haven't heard this one at all.
I think it's hippo.
So I think we're between
Does hippo
and...
make sense?
It does, yeah.
But let's have another question.
I mean, could they survive in, where was it, Panama?
It's worth 4 points.
Different question or extra fact? Different question, perhaps.
A clue will take you down to 3 points.
Different question, please, John.
Different question. In the 1940 Disney animation Fantasia, which animals wear tutus during a ballet performance to the Dance of the Hours?
You're absolutely right.
I
Hippopotamus.
believe that's hippos, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're okay with hippo?
Yeah.
For the gamble?
Yeah.
Just remember that in this round, a wrong answer could wipe you out altogether.
It could, but it won't on this occasion because I vaguely remember the dance. Hippos or hippopotamuses?
OK, for 3 points, let us see if hippopotamus is the correct answer. Hippopotamus. Yep, well done. The local environmental authority estimates there are now between 50 and 60 of them. They've been nicknamed the cocaine hippos. Very good. And it scores you 3 points. You now have question 1 or question 3. Which one are you going to go for?
Question 1, please.
Question 1. For 4 months in 1915 at the Panama Pacific International Exposition held in San Francisco, visitors could observe the practice of a system that bears the surname of which medical doctor?
Oh, could it be something like Heimlich maneuver?
No. I think that was post-Second World War.
Right.
There are hundreds of systems. I think we have to have at least one more clue.
OK, well, which clue might help?
Using another clue will cost you a point, take you down to 3 points.
OK, I think we're going to need a clue here.
Should
definitely.
we go for an extra fact?
Yeah.
Extra fact, please, John.
Extra fact. The doctor's writings include The Absorbent Mind and The Secret of Childhood.
Oh,
Okay, but it's something to do with child,
education.
a medical doctor.
So, OK, education. Come on,
This
John.
is worth 3 points. You have 3 clues left, but use one and you will be down to 2 points.
Education.
Do you reckon multiple choice might help over here?
Yeah, we're a bit stuck, aren't we? OK, multiple choice, is it?
Please, yeah.
Multiple choice, please, John.
Multiple choice. Apgar, Bach, Montessori, Rorschach.
Right. Rorschach is the
The test for...
Is the ink
is it
blots.
colourblind?
Or was it colourblindness? But it's got nothing to do with children.
Rorschach is the ink blot.
The ink blots, yeah.
That's probably the most visual of all the 4.
Right. But what's the system?
Was Rorschach a doctor, though?
redacted text.
OK, yeah.
Yeah.
Redacted text, please.
Redacted text. I was in a blank school. There was a drum circle with all the kids passing around a little bongo drum.
Montessori.
Jack White.
OK, Montessori is to do with education, so we'll go with Montessori.
An incorrect answer now means you lose the 3 points you've already scored in this round. OK, for 1 point, let's see if Montessori is the correct answer. Montessori. A group of children took lessons in a room with glass walls, and visitors could observe the teaching practices of Maria Montessori, which works on pupils' natural interests rather than formal instruction. You scored 1 point. Well done. So you're left now with question 3. George, Dottie and Archie are characters in which stage play that begins with an announcement about a radical Liberal polling victory?
OK, we
Is
can
that
always
the-
pass this.
How about the entertainer?
No, Room at the Top. And there's another one in the same era as well.
It's worth 4 points. You have 1 clue left.
Well, we
Use
might as
it
well
and you'll be
go
down
for
to
the
3
clue,
points.
And then,
Yeah.
And then pass, I would guess.
yeah. Could we have the audio clue, please, John?
Audio clue.
That's Jump by Van Halen.
OK, so that's Jump by Van Halen, Eddie Van Halen.
I've really got nothing.
You've got 4 points, but if you answer this question incorrectly, you lose the lot.
It's too much of a gamble.
Yeah.
Because we don't really...
We're just guessing.
We don't have an entry point into it.
No. We'll take the points we have, and we'd be delighted if you tell us what the answer is.
You've decided to pass on that question. The correct answer is Jumpers. Jumpers is a 1972 play by Tom Stoppard, a whodunit-style satire on philosophy. Intelligence, you scored 4 points out of a possible 12. OK, Assassin's Guild, here is your board of 3 questions. Question 1. What fresh produce was the subject of the 1893 US Supreme Court case Nix v. Hedden? Question 2. the soundtrack to which film was the only #1 on the UK albums chart in 1965 that was not by the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, or Bob Dylan? Question 3. In 1998, Google founders Sergey Brin and Larry Page created the first Google Doodle by amending the company logo to inform users they would be away from work, attending which event? Which one would you like to tackle first?
Let's go for number 3.
Question 3.
Okay.
So it could be many things. I'm thinking more sporting events, but I don't know what Sergey Brin and Larry Page are like or what they like.
What they do.
I feel like we want a different way into this one.
I agree.
It's worth 4 points.
I think different questions.
Different question might be good, yeah.
Okay, can we go different question, please?
Different question. Which event was founded in 1986 by Larry Harvey and Jerry James when they organised a small gathering to mark the summer solstice?
Burning Man?
Burning Man, yeah.
Do you think it is?
I think so, yeah.
An inaccurate or wrong answer at this point would
Maybe
rub
we should
out
just
this
play
round
it
for
safe. Go, like, multiple choice.
I'm happy with multiple
Okay,
choice.
let's go multiple
Fine.
choice.
you. Multiple choice.
Very safe.
Lollapalooza, Coachella, Burning Man, South by Southwest.
When is Coachella?
It's early in the year, isn't it?
Then it's unlikely to be that.
Honestly, if you had a strong gut on Burning Man and then it
Yeah.
is in the multiple choice, I'm feeling like going for it.
Okay, let's go Burning Man, please.
If it's incorrect, the round is over. For 2 points, let's see if Burning Man is the correct answer. Burning Man.
Nice one.
Well done.
Really well done.
Congratulations. The Google founders put a stick figure behind one of the O's as an out-of-office sign when they went to Burning Man Festival held in the Black Rock Desert in Nevada. And it scores you 2 points. Which question would you like to tackle next?
Can we have number 2, please?
Number 2, the soundtrack to which film was the only #1 on the UK albums chart in 1965 that was not by the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, or Bob Dylan?
Okay, so it is going to be a big film with a notable soundtrack. What do we think the clues are going to give us?
I think audio may give us, like, a song from the soundtrack. Let's go audio and see if we can get something
Sure.
out of it.
Yeah.
Audio clue, please.
Audio clue.
Platinum and nice, black diamond night. Well, that's alright. You looking right, ass kinda tight. I'm spending night. Roll with a G, oh, we could be right. You and me, like fantasies. I make it real. So what the deal? Girl, turn ready, just how you feel.
I don't know this.
Me neither. Maybe we should just skip this and chuck everything at produce.
I think past this one.
I'm happy to go
I
with that.
think we can try and grind out some fresh vegetables.
Okay, can we pass this one and try the next one? And can you tell us what this is?
You've decided to pass on that question, which means you won't be able to come back to it. The answer's going to rock your socks off. The Sound of Music.
Oh!
The album spent 70 weeks at #1 across 1965, 1966, 1967, and 1968. The song you heard was Favourite Things by the band Big Brothers, a contemporary version of a song from The Sound of Music. No points there. Here's your final question. What fresh produce was the subject of the 1893 US Supreme Court case Nix v. Hedden?
I have really no idea. So which one do we think gives us the best chance of getting after one?
Can we start with extra facts, maybe?
I'm happy to go with
Yeah,
that.
I'm happy with that. Extra fact, please.
Extra fact. Banana cream, Amish rose, and pink lemon are 3 varieties of this foodstuff.
It sounds like some varieties of fruit.
They want fruit or veg, I think.
Yeah.
These are really obscure. Let's go for redacted text.
Redacted text. At West Ham, I also threw a plate of sandwiches at Don Hutchinson. He was sitting there, still arguing with me, with cheese and blank running down his face.
Tomato?
Harry
and
Redknapp.
tomato. Cheese and tomato sandwich.
That works.
We are not gambling a ton of points. We can fight it back if we lose them.
I want to go for it.
Let's go for it. Let's go tomato, please.
An incorrect answer now means you lose the 2 points you've already scored in this round. Right, for 2 points, let's see if it is tomato. Tomato. Well done. John Nix wanted to claim back duty paid on the import of tomatoes. And while vegetables were still subject to import tax, fruit wasn't. The case decided that under US customs regulations, the tomato should be classified as a vegetable rather than a fruit. Well, Assassin's Guild, You scored 4 points out of a possible 12. That's the end of round 2, and there's still only 1 point in it. Intelligents have 13 points. Assassin's Guild have 14 points. It's still all to play for as we head into round 3, when the teams will face a quick-fire round of very hard questions. So join me after the break. Welcome back to Very Hard Questions, where our teams have been competing for the points they need to secure a top 2 spot on the leaderboard. In round 3, each team will face 5 very hard questions, but now every one of them will be against the clock. Give a wrong answer or run out of time and you score nothing. Let's play round 3. Intelligence, here's your first very hard question against the clock. What is the modern-day name of the city Khan Balik, developed in the 13th century?
Khan.
It sounds Asian.
Yeah,
Middle East.
but beyond that.
Definition?
Different question?
Different question. Yeah.
Different question, please.
Different question. The name of which city is in the opening line of the 2005 single by Katie Melua?
I've got no idea.
Oh, it's not Beijing. It's not that one about the bicycles. Okay.
Doesn't sound like Beijing.
Definition.
Definition. Major city in Asia with a population of approximately 20 million and a name that means northern capital.
Yeah.
Beijing.
For 2 points, is Beijing the correct answer? Correct. Beijing. Well done. Congratulations. Kublai Khan established the capital of the Yuan dynasty on the site of what is now Beijing in the 1200s. You've scored 2 points. Assassin's Guild, here's your first very hard question against the clock. In 2005, who was hit in the face with a pie after attending a ceremony to receive an honorary degree from Oxford Brookes University?
I think it's like Piers Morgan or Jeremy Clarkson, actually.
Okay,
I have heard this.
Definition.
Definition. Broadcaster who has written the books Born to be Riled and Driven to Distraction.
Jeremy Clarkson.
For 3 points, is Jeremy Clarkson the correct answer? Jeremy Clarkson is correct. Students and Green protesters objected on environmental grounds to Clarkson being awarded the degree. Apparently, it was an organic banana meringue pie. You've scored 3 points. Intelligence, here's your second very hard question against the clock. Which food company ran an advertising campaign in the early 1900s promising customers a free sample if they winked to their grocer?
Oh, no clue.
First letter?
No. Different question.
Different question, please.
Different question. One of the first products of which food company was invented by accident in the late 1800s when its founders were trying to make granola.
So, something like cornflakes, is it?
No, that's it's something like that. But first,
Extra fact?
yeah.
Extra fact, please.
Extra fact, the Apollo 11 astronauts took products produced by this company to eat during their 1969 mission to the moon.
First letter.
First letter, please.
First letter, K.
Kraft. Kraft? Is it Kraft, John?
For 1 point, is Kraft the correct answer?
That's Kellogg's.
Incorrect. It's Kellogg's.
Kellogg. Yeah, that was the other one.
The advert ran, wink at your grocer and see what you'll get. The answer being a free box of cornflakes. When trying to make granola, they accidentally flaked wheat berry, so they decided to keep experimenting and eventually made flaked corn. Assassin's Guild, here's your second very hard question against the clock. William Morgan, a physical education director at the YMCA in Holyoke, Massachusetts, invented an early version of which sport that first appeared in the Olympics in 1964?
So there's a bunch that got invented at YMCA's.
Maybe try related words?
Yeah. 'Cause
Related words, please.
Related words. Dig, libero, barrage.
Is that helping at all?
I'm thinking volleyball,
Could well be.
but I thought that was German. I don't know.
Triad words?
Or extra fact?
Yeah, because they all sound very volleyball.
Add words might tell us what kind of thing. Add
Fine.
words, please.
Your ad words are 6-a-side.
Volleyball, 6-a-side.
I'm not sure. Or it could be handball.
Could well be.
I don't know.
Let's try extra fact and see what we can do. Extra fact, please.
Extra fact. A ball with yellow, blue and white panels was introduced for this sport
Volleyball.
For 1 point, is volleyball the correct answer? Volleyball is correct. Morgan devised the game as an alternative to basketball, which was too strenuous for some of the older people at the YMCA. Related words, dig. In volleyball, a dig is a pass to the setter. Libero. Libero is a defensive position on the team. Barrage. Barrage is a synonym for volley. You've scored 1 point. Intelligence, here's your third very hard question against the clock. In a campaign for the 1964 US presidential election, Dizzy Gillespie said he would change the name of the White House to the Blues House and would make which person the head of the CIA?
Different question.
OK, different question, please.
Different question. Whose 1959 album Porgy and Bess features a collaboration with music arranger Gil Evans?
Is this not related to Cole Porter?
Was he still alive in 64?
It's one of these people. We don't know
OK,
which one.
first letter?
First letter, yeah.
First letter, please.
First letter. M.
Michael...
Miles Davis.
Oh, shall we risk it? Add words? Or risk?
Miles Davis.
We're going to take a risk with Miles Davis.
For 2 points, is Miles Davis the correct answer? Miles Davis. That was a risk worth taking,
Well,
wasn't it?
it was a risk.
Gillespie said ambassadors would be replaced with musicians because they knew where it was at. You've scored 2 points. Assassin's Guild, here's your third very hard question against the clock. A popular street food in South Korea. What, specifically, is byondegi?
I don't know this.
So different question?
Different question, please.
Different question. Which creature features in the title of the second book of the detective series by Robert Galbraith?
That's the J.K. Rowling thing. There's Cuckoo's Calling, and then do you know what the second one is?
I don't know what the second one is.
Not Lethal
No.
White.
Add words,
Yeah,
please.
Add words. Your add words are insect.
Could be many.
It could be cricket.
Could be cricket,
spiders.
could well be cricket. First letter, please.
First letter, S.
Try spider.
Yeah,
No,
let's...
it's not an insect.
Okay.
Oh.
Spider. Sorry, couldn't immediately think of another one.
For 1 point,
Sorry.
is spider the correct answer?
Sorry about
Now,
that.
what is it?
The correct answer is silkworm. Byondegi is steamed or boiled silkworm pupae. They supposedly taste like wood. The Silkworm is the second book in the Cormoran Strike series written by J.K. Rowling under a pseudonym. Intelligence, here's your fourth very hard question against the clock. According to the credits of the film, which public figure was aristocracy coordinator on the 1994 comedy Four Weddings and a Funeral?
Amber Rudd.
Okay.
I'm told by my colleague it's Amber Rudd.
For 4 points, is Amber Rudd the correct answer? Amber Rudd. Wow, well done. Well, that's a 4-pointer at a critical moment. Amber Rudd's role was to find well-dressed people who would act as extras in a wedding scene. 4 points. Assassin's Guild, here's your fourth very hard question against the clock. The capture of the German submarine U-110 and the recovery of an Enigma machine by members of HMS Bulldog during the Second World War had what operation codename?
Do we know?
Not immediately.
Could be mincemeat, but I don't think we want to guess on that yet.
No, that's not
That's
mincemeat.
not what mincemeat is.
Different question, please.
Different question. To commemorate the anniversary of the death of Benjamin Disraeli, the 19th of April is named after which flower?
Do we know?
gave-
No.
Primrose?
Picture clue, maybe?
Yeah, picture.
Picture clue, please.
Picture clue.
Who's that? That's like a child star of some sort.
yeah.
Probably has a flower name, but I don't know who she is.
I don't know who that is.
First letter, please.
First letter, P.
Try primroses. Disraeli gave primroses to Victoria.
Primrose, please.
For 1 point, is Primrose the correct answer?
Nice one.
Primrose is the correct answer. During Operation Primrose in May 1941, crew from HMS Bulldog boarded the abandoned U-boat and recovered the invaluable Enigma machine. We saw a picture of Willow Shields, who plays Primrose Everdeen in the Hunger Games film series. You've scored 1 point. It is dramatically close. There's only 2 points in it. Intelligence, here's your final very hard question against the clock. In 1991, in a Cambridge University computer laboratory, researchers Quentin Stafford Fraser and Paul Jadetsky created an early version of what piece of hardware?
It's not
That
a
is
mouse.
no, it's a webcam. It was a coffee machine.
Okay, should we just go for it? Or do you
Yeah.
want a clue?
There was an old one.
We've got time.
Piece of hardware is a. Are you agreed with that?
Yeah.
Remember it? Yeah.
No.
Shall I go for it? We believe it's a webcam.
For 4 points, is webcam the correct answer? Webcam, a 4-pointer at this point in the game, is absolutely amazing. The department coffee percolator was on a different floor to many of the labs, so they set up the webcam to take 3 pictures a minute so staff could see if it was full before they bothered to leave their desks. The Trojan coffee pot webcam was finally switched off in 2001. You've scored 4 points. The pressure's on, Assassin's Guild. Here's your final very hard question against the clock. Initially a weekly journal, which publication was established by Arthur Baldwin Turner in 1892?
Do we know?
Could be Economist. That's still
Reader's
weekly.
Digest.
Economist was established around the time of the Corn Laws. That's earlier than this,
Fine.
right? Maybe just go definition, then go for it.
Yeah.
Good definition.
Definition, please.
Definition. Influential American magazine bought by Condé Montrose Nast in 1909.
Condé Nast runs Tatler. I don't think that's American.
Yeah. Different question.
Different question, please.
Different question. For which song did David Fincher
Vogue.
win?
Vogue.
For 2 points, is Vogue the correct answer? Vogue. David Fincher won his second MTV VMA for directing the video for Vogue by Madonna. Vogue started life as a small society weekly in New York. You've scored 2 points. That's the end of round 3, so let's have a look at the scores. Having been behind for the entire show, Intelligents are now in the lead with 25 points, and Assassin's Guild are still in the hunt with 21 points. Teams, you now have one last chance to win some all-important points. Need I remind you, only the 2 highest-scoring teams from the entire series will contest the grand final and battle it out for £5,000 and the series champion trophy. Let's play the very hardest question. Now, you'll play on the buzzer against each other, and only one team can walk away with the points. I will reveal a question. If you think you know the answer, buzz in, answer correctly, and win yourself 8 points. I will continue revealing clues until someone answers the question correctly, but the points on offer will reduce each time a clue is revealed. Answer incorrectly, and your team will be locked out for the remainder of the clues. Fingers on buzzers. Here is the very hardest question. An 18th century monarch of which nation is known as the king who ate himself to death after reportedly eating a meal of lobster, caviar, sauerkraut, kippers, champagne, and 14 cream buns? Can anyone answer for 8 points?
It's going to be something.
Could be like France, Russia, Britain.
First up is extra fact. In the 18th century, 2 political factions in this country were known as hats and caps. Roderick.
Netherlands.
For 7 points, then, is Netherlands correct? Whoa.
Sorry, guys.
A wipeout.
Okay.
That is incorrect. You are locked out now for the remainder of the clues.
We have to go for it.
OK, Assassin's Guild, your next clue is definition. Country with a population of approximately 10 million and municipalities including Naka, Nora and Boden.
I'm still in Eastern Europe. Czech.
Czech
Can
Republic,
anyone
Poland.
answer
Yeah,
for
it
6
could be-
points?
yeah, but that's not. Or it could be like Hungary. I don't think Czechia had like a monarch.
Let's have one more, and then we may just need
Yeah,
to
let's
go
wait. Let's
for
wait
it.
a bit longer. I
Yeah.
think.
Here comes a different question. At the age of 28, Roy Hodgson began his football management career in which
This is the
country
exact one.
where he won a league title in his first season?
We can leave it one more to try and force a tie, or we should
Yeah.
just have a go.
Can anyone answer for 5 points?
I'm thinking Central Europe, Austria or Poland.
But
or
that's kind of where
Hungary
we've been
or
from the beginning.
Your next clue is a picture.
Sweden.
For 4 points, is Sweden the correct answer? Sweden.
Yes, you legend. Nice one.
Now, the day of the king's death was the Swedish equivalent of Shrove Tuesday. As the following day would have been the beginning of Lent, the king had a huge meal the night before and died shortly afterwards, probably because of digestive problems caused by his excesses.
Fair enough.
The building in the picture is the Turning Torso skyscraper in Malmo. Congratulations, Assassin's Guild. That has won you 4 points. And that's it. And here are the final scores. The scores are tied, with both teams on 25 points. Now, you're all competing for a place in the series final, where the top 2 teams will face each other. As the first 2 teams, Assassin's Guild and Intelligence, have taken the top 2 spots on the leaderboard, and 25 is the score to beat. This has been a ferocious and fabulous battle, and to have so many 4-pointers is absolutely incredible. Thank you very, very much. You've been brilliant. Join me next time when another bunch of very clever people attempt to answer some more very hard questions. And finally, I leave you with this very hard question. Why do we make round pizza, cut it into triangles, and put it into a square box? Goodbye.